Hey guys, how's it going? Today we're talking about the Insta360 1X2 or in general 360 photography and videography. I got a bunch of tips and tricks for you, so stay tuned. So first off, we're talking about the must-haves, and then we're talking about the do's and don'ts, and then we're talking about the post-processing. Yeah, if you like that type of video, please check out my description down below, because there I have an Etsy store where I sell accessories. So let's get straight into it. First off, I recommend getting a microfiber glove so you can wipe down the lens. And also very important, get like one of those wet tissues for lens cleaning. The lens will magnify every little detail. Highly sensitive, it's a must do. Always clean this lens before shooting. Also, if you're planning on going outdoors and doing some outdoor activities, I highly recommend this lens protection thing that Insta360 sells, but it will give you some artifacts and basically gives you lesser quality. But for most of the time, you're fine doing it without it, but you have to be very, very careful. Another must-have is the bullet time stand. The only downside, what you have to do is like replace the regular stand that comes with it, because if you put this one on, it will tip over. This is not really meant to be a monopod because it doesn't open up that wide. I highly recommend getting like a different stand that opens up like more aggressively, nearly flat like this one, because then you have way better stability with this monopod. Also, if you're shooting outdoors, I highly recommend, if you're doing any water activities, getting some Rain-X. So basically the stuff that you put on your windshield. If a water splash goes onto the lens, that water droplet will show up big time again. So Rain-X or any water propellant stuff will basically keep the lens clean, and you don't have to worry about like droplets showing up in your video and destroying your footage. Another thing that you should get, what I have, is a battery pack. I have here an Anchor. You can get any battery pack. I bought this one for back in the day when we played Pokemon Go and I needed battery life. This was worth all the money. It basically charges my Insta360 all the time. I don't even plug it in somewhere besides on the PC, so also a must-have. So let's start off with the do's and don'ts. First off, avoid low light at all costs. Indoors is already on the edge. If there's a little bit shadow, you basically see the noise popping up ASAP. Highly recommend having the blinds open and have it as bright as possible if you're shooting indoors with a 360 camera. The second thing, what you shouldn't do, if you take photos of people or yourself, do not use HDR. HDR is really good for video and you have to turn it on for video, but for photo, it takes too long to take a picture, you will get ghosting artifacts, and it's not that good with people. For real estate photography and all that other stuff, just use it. People in it, don't use it. Also, while filming, do not swing the camera around and do certain movements. Have the camera only in one position, like do only one directional movements with the camera, and do not move with the camera. It is very disorienting. I encourage you highly not to move around with your camera like this. Just have the camera somewhere standing on a monopod, tripod, whatever it is. You will get so much better footage. Talking about movement and position of the camera, very important. Have the camera 3 feet or 4 feet away from you is the farthest you should go if you're planning on filming yourself. If you're like 6 feet away or 8 feet away, you are tiny if you crop in, and the quality will be terrible. So make sure the camera is close enough to you. And if you do not want to have the big head or the big feet, have the camera in the middle of your body so the proportions are as close to normal as possible. Is the camera too low, your head will be too big. Is the camera too high, your feet will be tiny and your head will be bigger. So it's like a proportion game. Have it in the middle for the best proportions. So let's talk about composition. Shapes and symmetry are very important. Everything with a shape and a symmetry surrounding this lens will be great. I shot the other day on my ring light there and had the camera in the middle, and it looked like a portal. Best thing ever. This is another little thing you could do. Besides that, avoid cluttered places. Like my room right now is a little bit cluttered. If I would set this thing up, it would be very distracting. The viewer does not know on what to focus. Be a little bit more careful where you film and what you film. So let's talk about post-processing, because post-processing takes the most time. Working with 360 footage is super annoying, but there's a super easy way how to get the most out of your footage, and that basically is downloading Reframe 360 or GoPro FX. That are plugins for Davinci Resolve and Adobe Premiere, and you basically render with the Insta 360 software one file out that is basically a stitched version of 2 lenses, and in the editing process you can decide what angle you want to show if you use one of those effects. Works with Davinci and Resolve. It just saves a lot of time. Also, before I forget, please check out the description down below, because there I will have like my Etsy shop and ways to support myself, because this video is not affiliated besides by myself, because on my Etsy store you can buy a mount like this where you can put your camera on your desk and you don't have to worry that it will fall over and lay on its lens. It's a very neat way to display your camera. It's also a very neat way to just film. I have 2 stands. I will, see you soon in another video. Have a good one.